I planned on filming a lot of videos today. This was not one of them. Hey, it's Damo, and you may remember a few weeks back I asked... Weeks back? You may remember a few weeks back I asked for some Q&A questions so I could do a Q&A video. I got about 10, so thanks for that. And I will be answering them, just not in this video, in another one. Because this video is dedicated to one question specifically. And that question went something along the lines of, what is the weirdest dream you've ever had? Well, I think I had it last night. So I decided this question deserved its own video and that I would tell you the story of the really screwed up dream I had. But I wrote it down when I woke up. It's on my phone, so I've got some little notey bits, and yeah, brace yourself. So the dream started out in a dance studio. It's one I've actually been to before in real life when I was part of a dance company a few years back. And I was with a whole bunch of people who I'm fairly sure were meant to be part of the dance company as well. And we were rehearsing this dance, and it was particularly awful and looked a little something like this. I'm not really too sure what that was, but it happened. So we're rehearsing the dance, and then the choreographer, who was definitely meant to be the choreographer of the actual dance company in real life, said something along the lines of, "Oh, you're all doing so great, I can't believe you'll remember it after so many years." So this confirmed that it was in fact the dance company that I was a part of in real life, and we'd come together for some sort of reunion performance or something. We were doing the same dance as we did like 4 or 5 years ago. So I actually have no idea how we're remembering it, although I did make a mistake at one point, and then everyone looked at me and I went, "Oops," and everyone laughed at me like I was some sort of comedic genius simply for saying oops. So that made me feel good. So we ran the dance all the way through, at least 5 times, and like the entire thing played through in my head. So I was getting rather sick of it. And there was this one part where I thought I was laying on a bunch of people as part of the dance, and then when I rolled over to look at the ground, I was just laying on the ground. So I don't know what happened there, but I just ignored it, as you do with any weird shit in dreams. For some reason, your brain has a shit filter, so you don't know you're dreaming. I don't know. Anyway, we rehearsed it for a while, and then everyone just kind of disappeared, which was nice. Apparently my brain didn't think that the part where they have to leave the room to not be in it anymore was actually important, so they all just disappeared. Anyway, then this old lady walked in, and she looked really, really mad and really old, and then everyone reappeared apparently, and someone said, "Oh, that's... she's obsessed with clocks and time." I think they gave her a name, but I can't remember what it was, so I'm just gonna call her Bertha. Anyway, Bertha walks up to this giant old rustic clock on the wall, starts spinning the hands of the clock, mumbling something, and in my head I got this nice little close-up view of her old wrinkly hand and the clock, and she was just spinning it, going on about some shit, and we're all standing there like, what the fuck's happening? Then she turns around, and after she turns around, she looks mad, which she already did, and then she starts going off her tits, just yelling at us for some reason. We couldn't comprehend shit, but it sounded something like, "You've been here too long, get out." And everyone disappeared again except one guy, and I have absolutely no idea who he was meant to be, but apparently he was my friend and he stayed with me, so that was nice. But then after she started yelling at us, it turned out we were in my house. And I was all like, no, I'm not gonna leave, I live here. I have no idea how I got there, but we were there and she wanted me to leave, and that was not on. So I started going off my tits back at her, being all like, "Oh, I've been here longer than you, I live here, blah 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 blah, something, something, something." Then all of a sudden I decided that I would leave. And I was suddenly across the road on my neighbor's lawn with a backpack and a box, and my friend was there as well. And then I went, no, this isn't good enough. And right before I could go back to my house, the neighbor whose lawn I was on, who doesn't really exist, I made him up, he came out, and he was all old and angry as well, and he was like, "You shouldn't be treating her like that," or something, and I was like, I don't know who she is and why she's in my house. So I went back to my house, and once I got back to my house, I was like, no, this definitely isn't on, so I started getting angry at Bertha again. And then I started punching her. A lot. In the face. And she just stood there and took it. Like nothing was happening. She barely moved. So I got tired, and my friend just watched the entire thing, and then the old man appeared again, and he was like, "You shouldn't do that, get out of here." So I was like, fine, I will. So I went back to his lawn to get my stuff, and it turned out some of my stuff was missing. And so was the old man. And then my friend and I came to the conclusion that he had hidden some of my stuff because he was mad at me for punching Bertha. So began the journey to find some missing shit. I didn't even know what I was missing because everything looked like it was there, but apparently I was missing something. And this is where the dream got really fucking strange. So there's this alleyway in my street. It's a legit little, like, it's more of a pathway, but it is an alley technically. Anyway, so my friend and I walk up the path and we get to the end, and this is where it's different because it doesn't exist in real life. And there's this giant sewer pipe with bars in front of it. And we notice, after looking for about 5 minutes, is what it felt like, that there was a girl in there. This girl was kind of like Ring-esque, Grudge-esque looking, angry, dying girl thing. But she was really nice, and she was like, "Hi guys, how's it going? I'm just here, standing." And she was holding, like, from what I could tell, a can of beans that were frothing. And we were just kind of standing there like, yeah, this is a great encounter. Then she just casually starts talking about the old man, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he asked me to give you guys a clue." And then she just stopped talking. And we stared at her for a bit. And then she goes, "By the way, I'm really sick, and he put me here to make you guys sick and die." And we looked really worried, coughed once each, and then forgot about it, apparently. We just moved on. So after we had our little coughing moment, she continues and says, "Oh yeah, he's asked me to give you a clue. You'll find your stuff on an island, 5 meters of mud." And that's exactly what she said. That's a quote. And yep. So my friend and I go, "Oh, 5 meters of mud. It's muddy behind all the houses on this street. Let's go there." So we went there, and there was like this island surrounded by muddy water that was made of mud. And we were like, "Oh, this must be it." So we got on it, and then once we got on it, this like mud sculpted battle arena rose out of the ground around us. And then we were like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" So we were exploring it. And it wasn't very big, it was only like 10 meters long by like 4 meters wide, but we were exploring it. And we set off some sort of tripwire, and then a hole opened up that was only like this big, and a mud skull came out spinning around going, "Oh!" I just realized how fucked up that is. A mud skull came out of the ground spinning, going, "Oh!" I think he was the alarm system. Anyway, then this even bigger hole opened up and like formed like steps going down into it, and it was like this big-ish, I don't know. And this mud golem came out and said something about "Sensei must die," and started trying to attack me, and I ran. And then all of a sudden a stick came out of the ground that I think was made of mud as well. And I grabbed it, and I was fighting off this mud golem with a mud stick. I don't know how it was staying together if it was made out of mud, but it did for the next 3 seconds of the dream, and then I woke up. And that was my dream. I don't know where my friend went either. I think he might have been eaten. No loss, I didn't even know who the fuck he was. So it's like kind of a cliffhanger. Who the fuck was Bertha? What was she doing in my house? Who was the guy following me? Who was the old man? Where did my friend go? Why was any of it anything? What is wrong with me? It might not even be the weirdest dream I've ever had, but it's definitely the most recent weird dream. There is one other I can probably tell you about in another video that might be a bit weirder, but definitely not this video because it's much longer. Yeah, alright, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed that story. You got a slight look inside here. It's a little bit scary, but I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a beautiful existence. I appreciate your soul. Bye. What is actually wrong with me?